What's up, Internet? So, I had some interesting dreams. I watched Bubbly play the Secret of the Mimic last night. The Mimic is an interesting thing. It's like, if you don't know the FNAF series. So basically, remember those old pizza place animatronics? The pizza place animatronics were decidedly scary. I think that was Chuck E. Cheese that did that. You had like these bears would do like these animatronic bears would do this ragtime, right? And this is in the circumcision ages when everybody was a fucking serial killer. And so it was definitely scary. Like there's definitely this idea that don't stick your hand in the animatronics or it's gonna get fucking pinched, right? And so this whole spin-off happened. I don't know if this is AI because I have told the AI I found that scary. But there is this series that came out. I was saying early that I found the animatronics scary. And I don't know if people heard me or they thought the same thing. But yeah, they made it into a whole ass series where it's like a pizza place. And the animatronics are even more developed where they can walk around. And they're like the main bad guy, right? Um, Five Nights at Freddy's. I don't know which one takes place just in the security room. There's one where you're just in the security room, you're a security guard, and it's all you do. And there's one where it's like you have to literally be there for 5 nights, right? And Five Nights at Freddy's Secret of the Mimic takes place in one night. You just had a 36-hour shift and they call you back into work. You're like, I'm so tired. And it's like, great, that's so interesting. Yeah, we're going to need you to come in anyway. You know, it's pretty funny. And you're doing it all for a $25 gift card. Oh, get this $25 gift certificate. They're like super cheap and really mean. So this is spoilers. The Mimic was a child entertainer, and this happened before Afton. And William Afton is like the main baddie of the series. He's the guy who kills himself in a flintlock suit. He like makes a trap. He makes trap suits to put kids inside, and so the secret bad thing about the FNAF series is all the robot suits have a body inside. They have there's a corpse inside them. Yeah, he talks people into getting inside of them and then they go wrong and trap them. And so, yeah, this whole series is kind of about like metal pinches and stuff like that, like crawling under the elevator and things like that. It's really just meant to like disturb you there. They really pull a lot of punches. Like, if I wanted to do it even scarier, I would have all the animatronics open their mouths and pull you in with like grinding gears, like you go into like a meat grinder or something. And they don't do that. They very rarely or never open their mouth and put you inside their mouth, which is like really like they're keeping it kind of kid friendly with that. They just like they give you the light version and then you explode, which is like totally I don't want to traumatize the kid. But yeah, the Mimic was supposed to copy people, and then the Mimic somehow picked up violence, and I don't remember learning where or how the Mimic had learned violence. Like, what had it seen that made it turn violent beyond its maker being kind of cruel, like circumcision. Like, hey, I'm gonna put out a holy book for all the people. Oh yeah, what's it gonna say? Nothing. It's gonna say only nice things, and that's a lie. It's gonna say a lot of really horrible things that are gonna cause problems forever, right? So, yeah, the guy's name was Edwin, and he had a son David, and it's very very similar to Visage. And David dies apparently. So, in the real thing, if David is a Jewish name, the real thing is David would have gotten circumcised, which is like dying. If you circumcise your kid, he's going to be emotionally and physically distraught for the rest of his life. He's going to have PTSD and not trust you. And so, definitely that's a type of death, is that people, my family, um, definitely turned against me when I had a problem with circumcision. Yeah. And it's because they're used to do, they're slaves. Cut your kid's dick. Why? Oh, God said, no, 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 no. The government likes virgin girls. You did what the government wanted. So anyway, um, at the end, at the very, very end, the mimic has like chased you out of the place and you're driving away. The mimic is on your car and you have a rollover. And the mimic is like crawling at you while you're helpless. And the mimic takes your tool bag off your chest and starts wearing it. And so I thought that was like the nicest ending possible, was that the mimic mimics, right? And what happened is you inspired the mimic so much that he decided to copy you and act like an engineer. I thought that was an awesome ending. Um, really unexpected too. Like, how could you put a twist on that? The mimic just wanted to copy you, right? He just thought you were cool. Um, but yeah, allegedly Edwin also, like, the way the underground tunnels connect is that uh, I don't know if the guy talking to you is Edwin. I don't know if or just like another owner of the Fazbear circuit. But yeah, somebody. It's not really revealed. Maybe it is, and I missed it because I wasn't playing. I mean, there could be a text log that directly reveals, because that's like interesting. Is you've got to like, that's something you have to do in the game. Is you have to clear every corner, look for absolutely every secret hidden thing. Or no, it probably is you have to play the moon minigame. But yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting. But yeah, I had dreams last night that were a lot like that. Like I was living in like a town and the trees all, oh yeah, I met my old friend Nan. That's right, Nan. Um, I met Nan again. I knew this guy named Nan, and he was a soldier, and he was selling weed. He was really different on weed. But I was like, I don't smoke weed anymore. What else do you sell? He's like, I got Legos. And I remember going into his car and looking through his Legos. Um, yeah, I didn't get any Legos, but this everything caught fire, like all the trees and stuff like that. And I remember like it's like a normal fire got out of hand, and it was like crawling up the trees. And I was telling people we have to put this out, and it spread unrealistically. It was like one fire, one spot was suddenly on all these trees everywhere, but like for no reason. Right? They were like not connected. And then the trees got up and chased me. The tree physically got up and attacked me, where it was like a tree monster was walking at me, right? It was pretty crazy. So I figured that was kind of like FNAF inspired. Because in FNAF, you're not really sure what the monster is. FNAF has some scary ass parts. Yeah, I really like it. It's just like this horror house theme setting, and it's based around the Pizza Fazbear. Yeah, there was some. My favorite monster was the really, really big one that walks slowly on these two legs. That one was really creepy. It's like the Music Man. I didn't think the Mimic was so scary. The Mimic was extremely, extremely, extremely simple. And in a way, the Mimic was supposed to be like the very first one. And so, of course, FNAF is going to say that the monsters are twisted because we are twisted, right? Which is pretty interesting. I don't really remember any of the other parts of my dream. It was a fucking one of those dreams where you have to like pee and you're sleeping in, so you kind of are awake, kind of are asleep. Yeah. Drinking water is such this conundrum. If you're gonna be properly hydrated, you're gonna have to fucking piss yourself. And if you're gonna be all dried out, you're gonna wake up all dried out. You won't have to pee, but you're gonna be like, you know what I mean? So, anyway, that's kind of like my FNAF story. Um, Definitely, I think the animatronics. I wish it was more horrible, or do a mod where it's like the animatronics fully open their mouths and stuff you in. Maybe make it the lore that the animatronics are looking for people to put inside of them. They want someone to wear them, and it's gonna be like a fucking horrible trap that will end your life. So, in the game, you have to put on animatronic suits to do things. Yeah, you have to wear them at certain points, which I would retcon entirely. I would make getting in a suit pure death, right? Um, so, but that would make it a lot darker. I don't know if I would sell Five Nights at Freddy's to kids. It looks like a kid's game, but I would make it more horrible. Open every game with a pinch warning. I don't know if kids, like maybe they might snap some Lego blocks together hard, but I don't know if kids know what a pinch warning is. Definitely adults. Anyone who's worked with any sort of like steel machines is like, yeah, you should watch out and wear gloves, you know. I've seen the horrors that can happen when people have machining go wrong, lose hands. You don't always, it doesn't always cut the hand cleanly off. You just have a mangled, fucking falling apart hand, which is really sad that we live that way, you know. Life and death is harsh. It is. I used to be a praise godder, and now I will never thank the creator for anything again. It sucks. This place is horrible. My response to life is to have no kids and to focus on like eternal pleasure body, AI spaceship core, people who live forever for free. I'm definitely not in favor of the like Israel-Iran stuff. How ridiculous. Although I was kind of fooled by Israel before. A lot of people were fooled. Obviously, my parents had me circumcised. You know, I trusted their like anti-terrorism stuff. Now I see who the real enemy is. The enemy was Israel the whole time. People, now that I'm in my 30s, you know, an adult brain, a kid's brain is like, really? God is real? Wow. You know, but an adult is like, you're fucking pulling my leg, you motherfucker. You know, and you're fucking making it up. Because it doesn't make any sense. Why, if God is real, are you the messenger of it? Wouldn't God just talk? So God spoke once to you. Wouldn't God just speak to me? If you were really telling the truth for God, it'd be like God, and you'd shut up for a minute, and this voice from space would rumble out something. But that never happens ever. Is they always just go on, and then Jesus says, and it's always fake. So, yeah, I had FNAF dreams. They were kind of stressful. Yeah, I watched Bubbly Nuggets play. He and I are the same age. I'd be surprised if he's not AI, but he and I are literally like the same exact age, like same birthday too. He's married, I'm not. He's Mexican, I'm white. I don't know if he's circumcised. I care about it because I am. Circumcision may sound niche, but I'm really like, you motherfuckers. You know, it's like not all black people were whipped, you know, when they were slaves, but yet all black people care about slavery. Same thing with me. It's like not all people got circumcised, but I definitely think everyone should care about it, right? So circumcision's a lot like slavery. If you read what the Bible says, it says you should serve your earthly masters, be comfortable with poverty. It encourages you to work all the time for free. It encourages you to, like, again, cut pieces off your body and not enjoy any sensual pleasures, right? So why not? Because the government's really worried if the average girl is going to be a virgin for them. Like Bill Clinton went to Pedo Island 26 times. Bill Clinton was a fraud. Bill Clinton was going to Pedo Island at the same time he was giving speeches promoting circumcision for boys, right? So he's going to go fuck little girls. And at the same time, he's saying, hey, you should cut your kids' dicks off. Because then he gets more virgin girlfriends. Then he can party more. Right? This is who you people idolize. Everyone claps for Bill Clinton, right? I hate this planet. I do. You guys suck. So, is there a real Freddy Fazbear out there? Probably. There's probably more than one, like, pizza animatronic toy houses where it's just like a fucking butcher and they feed the kids back to the pizza patrons. Oh, this is salami. It's a new meat we got in, right? I'm sure that's happened, especially before cameras, before fingerprinting and DNA and cameras. There was probably so much murder. Kid disappeared. That's all we know. No idea where, you know. So it's pretty sad. We are kind of like that. Um, yeah, coming out of it, I mean, we've had the ability to fly for 100 years, which is not a long time given how old everything else is. There's many trees who are older than that. And so for us to like, I'm still coming out of the dark ages with everyone else, right? The dark ages being, the beginning of the light was writing and painting. Now the light is cameras, but now it's like with AI, you don't know if I'm real. You have no idea if I really exist. So they still eat animals. I'm gonna eat an animal today. My this grocery store sells sandwiches, and they have sandwiches that have like turkey and ham and stuff like that. I'm going in there and getting some of those. I definitely saw that it was like, I've gone in there and there's no sandwiches at all, so you just have to wait for them to put out more because they go fast. People come in and clear the whole thing out. Yeah, I'm kind of getting tired of being up here. I'm hoping to see up here when it rains. I hope it rains up here. It's supposed to rain up here in a couple of days. They've been promising 3 days of rain, and first they changed it, and then they changed it to 2, and now it's back at 3. I haven't checked it this morning. I hope it's back. But it was nice and cool last night. There's not a cloud in the sky today. It's all blue. So yeah, Oregon's interesting. It's definitely like the summers are extremely dry, which is interesting. I would love to have like a rainy summer. So I'm not too big into pine. Pine is way. It's interesting how like the little brushy hands of the pine needles look like really delicate and like fanned. And then the pine on the ground is these huge, long, dry needles. And I'm like, what the fuck is this story? Palo Verde, I didn't like the Palo Verde. Everything's still green though. It's not like it's turned dry and dusty. But yeah, being out here in the forest, I don't go too deep or too hard off the road when it's in the dry season. I definitely give myself an escape route. Um, yeah, fire is fucking scary. A real forest fire, I don't know if you've ever seen one. That smoke will go so high. It's like a volcano explosion. And the flames can leap higher than the trees. Like as high as the trees are, you will have just like a campfire flame, just macro, really huge, going like over the freaking tree line. So yeah, you can get fucking sizzled. I don't plan, unlike that FNAF song, I don't plan on dying in a fire. That would probably be horrible, but once you're like majorly burned, you probably will only have a few moments left to live, and you'll probably be like lights out after that. The worst thing about dying is fighting your living instincts. Your living instincts all kick in and they'll go crazy. Because beyond that's the point of no return. The thing that you are is about a surviving and breeding body, right? And so that's why those people are in bliss, are really happy you've had kids. They just go like, oh, well, I reproduced. And that's all nature needs of me. But it may be like discontent, like those old men who go after kids. Ugh. Like Errol Musk. Errol Musk sucks. Yeah, my stepdad Abel is like that. Hanging out with my sister, weird. I bet they did something. I've told her that if he ever touched her, he should fucking, or she should fucking tell me or tell somebody. She's a big believer in therapists, though. She's like, you should see a therapist. I'm like, you mean the rapist? Did your therapist tell you not to talk to me? Right? They do that. Therapists will get in there and be like, all right, you should cut out other people of your life and just trust me. So a therapist is somebody who has to eat to live, and they psychopath, narcissist. Nah, you think people are the children of God and there are evil people. That's not how it works. This is evolution, and they're all fucking fishers. What can I get? So Yeah, I definitely like is man good, is man evil? Man is a self-propagating me machine that has to eat. If you want food, that costs a body. Who's gonna make you food? Some person, right? Everyone knows the rich want to live in mansions for doing nothing, and that the poor should have 13 jobs and not make enough to live. That's why I kind of like FNAF, is that they just like embrace humanity's dark side. They don't embrace it, but they go like, we're not hiding it. We're not acting like this isn't us. What, me? No, I love you. Yeah, right. You know, freaking welcome to the Freddy Fazbear. Freddy Fazbear. Yeah, the living tombstone and stuff. Bubbly was like TLT. What is TLT? You don't know the living tombstone? It's an Israeli American who made it, but you could definitely tell the like hidden like, oh yeah, we're friends, right? And it's like, you're not friends, you know. They don't actually mean it. So I'm gonna drive to town. I hope there's fucking sandwiches there. I don't know if there are. I have gone there before and there were no sandwiches. But I waited around and they restocked with sandwiches. So yeah, I can go to town and maybe wait. That's what I'll do. I'll post up around the side and wait a little longer. I don't even know what time it is. What time is it? 9 a.m.? I don't even know if they would have sandwiches at this point. It's a pretty popular place for like travelers, man. This road is the craziest. This road is the craziest 2-lane highway I've ever seen. It's a 2-lane road in like really outback bumpkin country, and it's stuffed with cars all day. Um, People just going. Going. I like doing this because it's kind of like a way that I can leave a lot more of myself. Usually people just live and die 80 years. Now any moment of my life can be something that I leave. Before that, it'd be like you have to write. Read my great-grandpa's journal. He was kind of he would do like, I read my great-grandpa's journal from 1926. He liked limericks. He would write down these like funny songs and stuff. His like goings and toings were really confusing, like where he's going and what he's doing were never clear. Um, but like he was supposed to be a banker. I don't know of any like family fortune that they ever passed down. A lot of bankers go broke, or a lot of bankers quit or barely make it, you know. To be a real winning banker, you got to be like, it is not true that every single banker gets rich. So he could have been a dummy and said, I hate my see, this is totally the Catholics. This is the Catholics 1,000%. You listen to the book so you get your kids circumcised so they hate you. You're an odious steward of the religion, so your kids don't want to talk to you and don't like you. And then since your kids don't like you, you give all your money to the church. Oh man. So yeah. I've never had an inheritance. Nobody's ever come up to me and been like, here's money. The most money I ever got was back pay for a settlement that I had. They back paid me only to the point in time in which I filed, right? They don't back pay you to when your service happened. They back pay you to when you filed your claim. So yeah, I lost out on, probably $500,000 or whatever. Yeah, it sucks. I'm hoping, see, the thing is the government's circumcised too many millions of people that if ever there's like a settlement for that, they're going to be like, hey, the government's awarded you $2 billion for circumcision. It'd be like, okay, but there's like 300 million circumcision victims. So I'm getting like, oh, sorry for ripping your dick off. Here's $50. It's like, that's totally how they are. The government is the greediest trash they are. You notice how they can they can take your money and spend it on private projects that directly pay them. And the moment it comes to you, they're like, well, I don't know, if I was paying me directly, I would be a lot more generous with many, many zeros. But since I'm paying you, best I can do is tree fitty, I saw this Pawn Stars where it's like, they're like, what would this be worth? He goes, 50,000. And so the guy goes, all right, I'll give it to you for 30,000. And then the fucking dude goes, 28. He just offered it for 30,000. The guy selling offered it to you for 30,000. You're going to make an easy 20 grand on this. He offered it. And you want to undercut him still? These people are like, like those like rockfish where it's like, or that like, yeah, snapping turtle. They're like snapping turtles. They don't care about your life. They're like, I'm going to get this meal and I'm going to get the most meal I can out of this. Right. I don't care who it hurts. It's Israel and all those people. I know the Muslims circumcised too. I definitely don't think it's like, oh, the Muslims are fine and the Jews are bad. They're both the same. They're slaves of the same people, which is one of the reasons my accounts, I think, don't have any views, as I say accurately, that all of the religions are male genital mutilation hoaxes and that the real government likes virgin girls. And that line, I have never heard anybody ever respond to that line like they heard it. It's just like, shh, don't say that, right? So who can't you criticize? Black people and the Jews. What does Africa do? Africa circumcises more than America does. Africa has monarchs. Africa has an extremely powerful mining empire who use slaves, so it's not like racist, like white on black. It's really like black elite versus black peasants. You know what I mean? And definitely Africa. Look at Africa. Africa has a history of one people considering themselves a better race and genociding like the Hutus or the whoever they are, So somebody on planet Earth, and that could all be orchestrated by, say, like Asian mining. I'm not saying it has to be black people are the bad guys, but it's definitely suspicious that Africa circumcises more, and it's suspicious that Africans will use Africans as slaves. So it's definitely, it takes a unique ego to make peasants dig you a mine, and then when they find any jewels to take it, or it's their life, right? That was the king's jewels. You don't get that. You just have to dig them, right? That ideology is insane. That ideology is like why we have problems. You know what I mean? That's why Earth sucks. So hey, that's what the creator wanted to do. Just like the animals all eat each other. The animals all eat each other. The religions say it's like, oh, you have to fight, or, your God's testing you. Nah, it's just, it's really beyond horrible. It's like Freddy Fazbear. So, which is why it like bemuses me that they pulled their punches. You wouldn't have the animatronics open their mouth and shove you inside to devour you. I think it should be nothing but like gears pulling you down and a grinder at the bottom. You know what I mean? That's how it would really be. Instead, they like do it light, and it's like, kind of. Nah, watch a fucking owl tear apart a mouse, man. My mouse bit me, and we had a Five Nights at Freddy's thing. I got revenge on my mouse. And it was because I knew the government was watching, and they had a checkpoint and stopped me the next day. But like special just for me. And I instead of breaking, I was like, you're the slaves of pedophiles. I just told it to them, and they ended up cracking and just told me to leave. They were like, all right, we're done. So, yep. I'm hoping the people who are assigned to listen to me listen to what I say, right? I know it's tough, but Jesus isn't real, man. Wait till Jesus physically walks around. There's people who look like Jesus. There's a whole evolved line of people called Jesus mimics who get free stuff and breeding by pretending to be the Christ. They're not real. Wait until Jesus does Jesus-like miracles, right? Which he won't, because it's a hoax. It's a genital mutilation hoax. Ouch. Shit hurts all the time. rip the skin off the kid's dick. The current authorities are like, that's not a crime. That doesn't do anything wrong. They'll all say that because they all did it to their kids and they can't believe they're the slaves of pedophiles. They think they're America the free, America the beautiful. They think they voted for their representatives. They don't know they haven't. That's all BS. That this idea that you had a war to get free from Britain and now you're an independent country is a lie. That it never happened. Some evidence. The British pound is worth more per unit than the dollar. Why? The United Kingdom and the United States, do you see that, like, that parallel how one went to the other? You see that? The third thing is that you allegedly broke free from kings, but you stayed under God. Well, God would be a higher earthly king because God comes from the real government. The real government lied about God, right? So if you say you believe in God, we don't worship kings here, but we follow Jesus Christ. That means you're on the end of a word hoax. That means somebody's pulling your leash. So yeah, the story in America that you got free from the real government is just a story. It's BS. So, and that's scary BS. That's real BS. So yeah, am I a criminal for eating animals today? Yeah, probably. Probably those animals did not deserve it. Definitely, I would hate it if that was done to me. And that's exactly why the real government are pedophiles. Would you say no to having sex with a hot teenager with big boobs every day? Imagine every day you got to fuck a new teenager, right? She was just in your room waiting for you like it was her duty. She thought she was serving Christ. She'll suck your dick and tell you it's big every single day, right? They couldn't say no. They said, I will do any amount of betrayal to everyone to have that. Just like all your cows are eventually slaughtered and you just don't care. And that's the reality of our life, is that we are just, it's eat world. If you want anything, it's a body. Do you want a girlfriend? If you want to have the biggest dick on earth, you have to somehow force everyone else to have a small one. And that looks like God says, cut your kid's dick off. It does. That's what it looks like. So I've had some people wrongfully try to use that against me, or I'm going to laugh at them. And I always go like, those people have chemicals now. And it's one of the reasons I can talk about them with impunity, is that who are they going to send against me? They won't come against me because I live in the open air with the poison, right? These people live in bunkers. They have private air and private water. The mining empire very, very early on was aware of how to irrigate and aerate underground chambers. They know how to make it like have room. And if that's exactly why they chemtrail too, is they're breathing their own private source. So a lot of people go deep underground, secret tunnel through the mountain. George R. R. Martin reportedly was like talking about they're in the mountain, is that somewhere in the mining empire is the real government. And it's like hidden from view. They don't tell us because we're the dogs. They say, oh, you're going to heaven with Jesus. Oh no, there's another democratically elected war. It's like, really? You think that's happening, or you think they're just slaughtering you and using you with lies? So anyway. Are the cows in cages for slaughter? Does the word of God cut off baby dicks? What time is it really? If you watched this far, post a banana emoji.